pilots transferred a little piece of land all the way across the Atlantic.
So we're ready to get the round going here at Chambers Bay, and we'll begin, Frank, at the first with a par 4.
496 yards, obviously that'll stretch anybody out there. That bunker down the right is very much in play. The fairway does narrow out too, just short of that. So this really is going to require one of your best tee shots. Semi-blind second shot, a relatively big green. This is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Well, that ball nestled down just a bit in that heavy rough. Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Now the game's #1 player, Rory McIlroy, ready with his approach.
One of the things I think that's captivated the audience now with Rory McIlroy is he's doing things that we thought only one other player could do, and that's Tiger Woods. When you can streak fields in a major championship by nearly double figures, that's when you're in a classy round. And I know that's stating the obvious.
He has a gear, Frank, that I don't think other players have. You might be rolling along at 95 miles per hour, and you think you're moving, and you look to your right and you blink and go, who was that? Somebody just went by me, and he's doing 125 and make it look easy. This kid is really special.
Oh, that was solid, Rich. This one's safely on. Really. This is that awkward length.
Well, Frank, it's our job to get excited.
You can't when you leave it short, though.
I'm sad.
He's making my job hard.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Not the best start, 2 over par. Now to the second hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, it is not overly long. Where's the trouble here?
Well, 281 yards really to the big long bunker that goes all the way to the green. So as long as you can avoid that, you don't have to hit driver down here, just something that's going to be a little short of that. You're still only going to have 100 yards really, or just over 100 yards in for your second shot. A really good chance too to get off to a good start.
And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second. That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
Routine stuff here, Frank, from the bunker?
You just got to be careful of that lip in front of him with his third shot coming up.
So, Frank, out of the bunker and back into play.
Yeah, the late Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's always the next one. Well, by getting the ball back in play, he just made that a little easier.
Well, that's 17 feet on this putt. Frank, we hear the sports psychologists often say, put the mistake behind you, live in the moment. Easier said than done.
It is, male, female, it doesn't, it certainly affects everybody that plays this game, and somehow you've got to play, you've heard the old cliche, one shot at a time, but this is why it's so important, because if anything from the past creeps in, it really does affect on what you do after that.
Tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Ready for his second shot, trying to knock it on the green. Frank, why are great rivalries so important? Why do we love them?
I think because people like to sit on one side of the fence. You're either for or against a great player. And I think we see that today with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. There's the McIlroy fans that think his future is so bright. There's the Woods fans that still want him to pass Jack Nicklaus's record. That's the beauty. You've got to have an opinion, and you have to have a player.
He'll be pretty happy with that one, about 20 feet away in a good spot. Settles in over the putt. Well, that's disappointing. That's a drop shot at number 3. Just a little sloppy right now. No other way to say it. Another bogey and 4 over for the day. Frank, standing here on the 4th tee at Chambers Bay, you can see what this golf course is all about with those dunes on the left and all that sand down on the right. A lot of trouble here.
Yeah, first hole, Rich, really that bends to the right, but if anything, you want to keep the tee shot down the left side. It's going to give you a better angle to the green. And unlike the 2 previous holes, this fairway slopes to the other direction, to the right. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. How tough is this going to be now from the rough, Frank?
Oh, it's tough to say, Rich. I mean, so much is going to depend on that lie. I'm going to need a little bit of luck.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Not missing by much today, but enough to again be in the bunker. Frank, this is the 3rd shot from the fairway bunker.
Yeah, good lie. And once again, just making sure you have enough loft to carry the lip in front of you, and really then focus about the target in front.
In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, it just seemed to baby it.
Getting ready now for this next shot in the bunker.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
And he's made it onto the green now. This is a 28-footer. Frank, that's what you want to do. Good lag.
Yeah, they can't all go in. It's no snack, though.
Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. I don't know what happened to the other 1%, but...
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Well, Frank, here at the 5th, and I'm not sure about my chances at a hole that's called free fall. I mean, are you kidding?
Well, should be free fall for you, that's for sure, and free fall for a lot of people playing it today. Hole looks straight away, but you see it starts to pinch in, that fairway that is, by bunkers left and right, and those bunkers come in exactly where you're trying to hit your tee shot.
Why did it do that, bro? Look at that. See where I aimed it to the left?
What was he thinking there?
I have no earthly idea.
Must have messed up on the sweep, bro, or something.
Frank, this one's headed way right.
And rough trees, all sorts of problems on that right side.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Frank, that was a pretty tough lie out of the rough there.
Yeah, it made that actually a little easier than what it really is. It would have been too easy to try and bite off more than you can chew. So I've got to give him a pat on the back for that.
Back in the fairway. Frank, at a 72-hole stroke play event, do you like birdie fests where, say, 28, 30 under par might win it, or do you like a good old-fashioned grind them out where you might be able to win the championship at, say, 7, 8 under par?
Yeah, I like the latter, really, because I think it tests the mental fortitude. Normally, if people are in the mid-20s under, the golf course is a little easier. It's a little more forgiving. Greens are flatter and all that. And therefore, I'm not saying it's one-dimensional, but it's closer to that. When you have a good old barn brawn out there with the rough thick and bunkers are difficult and greens are fast and undulating, every part of your game is stressed to the limit. And, you know, sort of 10 under, I always think, is like a really good litmus test for a great tournament.
Looks like he just misread that.
Damn. That mean I'd have put it way up and to the left. So it's hard to figure out.
It's that sneaky distance.
See it now, look, it's doing it again.
Don't leave it short. Wow.
So it's not even going up to where I'm saying it to go.
Locked in on the read
I thought it
and
was
the
down.
speed.
Why is it showing it downhill and it not going downhill? I mean, what the fuck?
Well, hit the stroke limit
now
on
it
that
wants to
one.
turn right and go downhill. I don't. This is weird, bro.
Ready to tee off here at the 6th. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. That little green strip, that runway down there, another hole that bends to the right, but find the fairway. The fairway's wide enough. You've got a pretty good idea exactly where you want to go. And once again, this is one of the shorter par fours. So good drive here, just a short iron in.
Frank, what do you think about this approach here at the 6th?
One of the few greens here that's protected on both sides. Rather narrow green, and you can see really what happens if you miss. Bunkers left and right. Plus there's a couple of ridges, so club selection is important here.
Ten-foot putt left.
See, look, it looks like it's gonna swoop down.
Oh, I thought he had that. So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th.
That should have dropped. Darn it.
Been a rocky round.
So I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
Frank, this is a daunting challenge. The 7th hole, long par 4. It's over 500 yards.
A huge bunker down the right side that probably runs for a good 200-300 yards. Obviously, that's to be avoided. And then, of course, there's the mounds and the hammocks and the dunes and that on the left side. That's the reason, really, why this hole's called Humpback. But then, a little bit like the golf course, there's only one greenside bunker to be worried about, but enough green left of that. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. And once again, off the tee and in the bunker.
You went up and tried to reach for the handle?
Missed the fairway in the fairway bunker now.
It's not all gloom and doom, though. Lip isn't too high. A good swing here still shouldn't be a problem.
Given the choice, most players would rather play from the green grass versus the white sand.
Yeah, there was no advantage to try and take that much more out of that fairway bunker. Couldn't reach the green. It's a smart play.
See if our featured player can do something right today.
Yeah, when you're swinging well, obviously target looks as big as a barn, but on days like today, everything looks difficult. Well, it's a little absurd, that, Rich. The shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. Setting up for an approach shot here. Frank, there's only one tree on the entire golf course here at Chambers Bay. Also, no houses, no golf carts. It's kind of nice. It's sort of pure out there.
It's what golf is and what should be, and what it should be. And sadly, we've gone away from it at times. But when you come back to places like Chambers Bay, and I know Chambers Bay is still a new golf course, but it still reminds us how golf really, it can be played by any level, by any male or female. It doesn't discriminate against age either. So, you know, golf is something. It is a game that can be played by everyone. And when you see a true walking links golf course like Chambers Bay, you go, yeah, I could do that.
Must make this for a double bogey. Wow, I thought he made that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business.
Wow.
Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on.
Get out of there. Can't do it.
Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realize that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
Now the second shot to the par 5. Frank, the approach shot here at the 8th, and what's a player looking at?
Well, you've got no bunkers really to worry about, but obviously a lot of undulation. You can see there that if you use the contours, that ball's going to kick around a little bit. Relatively narrow, but this is not a problem. You can go in here low or high.
Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
What the hell? What's it
That was not a very good read right there.
going up the hill? And then it came back down?
Come on, you have to make that, don't you? Drop shot here at the 8th. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. My goodness, what does the guy have to do to make a putt out here? Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Frank, the ninth hole is called Olympus. Feels as though Russell Crowe should be standing on the tee, starring in some sort of a movie about the Greek gods.
I knew you'd go like Titans and that down here. But this golf course is for the mere mortals, Rich. This isn't for the Greek gods and the Titans of the world. They might think they are, but this is for you and me. This is for everybody. 36 handicappers. We can all play here.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Yeah, no problem.
It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
A beautiful, soft touch out of the bunker. That's Mickelson-esque. Putt for par. Needs one. Well, Frank, he'll drop at least one shot here. That was not his best effort.
No, poor is the easiest way to put that. He knows it. Rich, you got to tell me what happened. I covered my eyes on that one.
Another bogey. What else? Played very poorly on the front, but still a chance to get it back here on the back nine.
Yeah, this is where you just simply have to eradicate what's being. You know, golf is that game of keep doing what's in front of you. Keep moving, one step at a time. There's something about a well-hit shot.
Just a good, solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second.
Looks like it's heading for the bunker.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The two greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron. That's right, a 3-iron on a short bunker shot from a green side bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sandwich. Amazing. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
So they'll tap in. Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. Stepping up to the tee here at the 11th, Frank.
Yeah, it looks straightforward. You see a big dune in the middle of the fairway. You can really take that out of play. Get it down there as far as you can. You're going to need to. And then from there on in, it's really just trying to find out exactly where you want to land that second shot so that you can get it on the right level.
Good tee shot right in the fairway and plenty long. The 11th hole, Frank, what's the right way to get at it?
Just got to be cognizant of that ridge that cuts through the middle of this green. That sort of turns this green into one simple green and all these little complex sort of sections. That's the biggest thing, but that's also, you realize very, very quickly, you're playing links golf today. That's an absolute beauty.
Is this on the PS4?
Now the game's #1 player, Rory McIlroy, ready with his approach. That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
You like this one, Frank?
Oh, it's a good one. Safely on.
Getting set now over the putt. Bit unfortunate, loses a shot here with that bogey. Measuring 311 yards, the 12th Frank seems to offer an opportunity for a player to do something pretty dramatic here.
Yeah, it's called the Narrows. Really, it should be called the Temptation, because what player stands on a tee knowing he can reach and doesn't take up the gauntlet?
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. These putts keep the round together. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knocking him for a par, and let's forget about this one. And golf is not about perfect. It's going to hurt the cause.
Par for McIlroy, but you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. Now at the 13th hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, this one bends to the right, par 4.
It doesn't mean that you have to cut it or move the ball in that direction. Ideally, really, anything down the left side of the fairway would be well suited for this hole. There is a central bunker that sort of protects the front middle of this green. You can go in left of that or right of that, but this is a beefy par 4. 4 on the card, and you are not losing ground.
Well, that was a beautiful drive, Frank. Really good position to take
In the
advantage.
new
sitting up
streamer
beautifully in the
myself, if you need some help, let me
Second
know.
shot.
I don't have this game, but I have a lot of others.
That shit.
Comment.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. About 18 feet away with a decent look.
It's no snack, though.
Opportunity missed right there. Settles in over the putt. Been a rocky round. Frank, now to the 14th hole, and this is the 5th consecutive par 4 here at Chambers Bay, and by this point the players will know whether they're on their game or off their game.
At 546 yards, this hole can be shortened considerably if you choose to take a brave line down the left side. You can chew off as much as 70 or 80 yards. But once again here, because the hole bends to the left, you really got to know which direction that wind is coming from.
So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
All right, the approach shot is on the green, but he'll have a very testy putt coming up. Just want to nestle this one down to within a couple of feet. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well, too bad. He gives one back. At last, Frank, a break from those long par fours. We just played 5 par fours in a row. Now the par 3 15th.
And also, as you can see in the distance, you can actually see a tree. It's one of the few that are on the golf course. Hence the name of 15. It's called Lone Fir. Not overly long, just a little short hole. But in the US Open, obviously they can play it at around 250 yards. It's just a fun par 3. But check where that flag is, because sometimes 3 is a good score here. But an easy flag position, and then go straight at it.
Frank looks like maybe the greatest bunker player of all time right there.
Well, he's making a name for himself today. You could certainly put him up there with Gary Player, Severiano Ballesteros. That was just a great bunker shot.
And you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Now to the 3-hole finishing stretch here at Chambers Bay, and we get it started with a relatively short par 4. It's a 423-yard hole, the 16th, Frank.
Bend slightly to the right. There's a huge bunker all the way down the right side that sort of starts, I don't know, maybe about 100 yards off the tee, goes all the way to the green. You go right, and then you realize why this hole is called Beached.
Frank, what's the danger here on the approach to the 16th, considering the green is really pretty small?
Well, obviously it's a short par 4, so you know that the problem's going to happen up ahead, and that's exactly what it does. This is probably one of the smallest, narrowest greens at Chambers Bay, and you can see it slopes dramatically from left to right. That has to be taken into consideration with the second shot.
So, third shot now for Rory McIlroy. And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
This is a 13-footer. Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. And getting ready for the putt. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, you don't need just a caddy out here at Chambers Bay. Seems like you need a sports psychologist. You start thinking about the names of these holes. Beached at 16, and what's 17 called?
Derailed, and you can see why too. That green's perched up there. If you've got the round going in the wrong direction, this is not a hole to start on. So if you've got a run going, it's just a good tee shot that lands around the front there, and you just take a 3 here. This is not a time to be a hero. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. And yet again, he has hit it off the tee and into the bunker. Straightforward pitch shot here, 35 yards. Frank, safe to say he is not having his best day out here today. What kind of advice do you give a player who's struggling?
Well, you just almost got to forget what's happened. I know that's easier said than done. Just start a clean slate. Just hit a good shot. Just find a fairway. Don't try and get too specific. There's enough out there. The greens are big enough. Just find a piece of green. Find a piece of fairway. Maybe knock a couple of putts in. And then let it add up in your direction. That was a good run at it, Rich. It's that sneaky distance.
Not quite enough on that one, couple of feet short.
Yeah, hopefully he taps it in. Not his best, but hopefully it's just 2 putts.
Shouldn't be a problem here. Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walking golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department of your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Good tee shot right in the short grass. Now the second shot to the par 5. This one will play a little bit longer. It's up the hill to that green. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, it just seemed to baby it.
Still not home yet, playing his 4th. Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Getting set now over the putt.
It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot. That one will definitely hurt.
He's putting for bogey now. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Just a little tap in here. Time to regroup. That's a double bogey. So as we finish up here today, Frank, he has not had the best round, but I suppose that's golf, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not Robinson Crusoe. This golf course can drive many a man crazy. But the beauty of this game, you get up, dust yourself off, do it again.
And there'll be a next time for us as well, partner. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo saying goodbye for now. This is EA Sports, PGA Tour coverage coming your way. Just a spectacular setting here in the Pacific Northwest. We're at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, it's almost like a nature walk out there. It's built amongst these wonderful sand dunes. As far as trees are concerned, there's only one really that comes into play. The rest are all in the distance, so you feel very much at one with the elements. It's kind of nice, actually, just going for a little stroll out there like that. Refreshing.
And the tee shot ends up in the bunker. Anything you do differently with your setup?
Just dig my feet into the sand a little bit more, but make sure you focus on the exact spot on the ball you want to hit.
Out of the sand and back on the fairway.
Yeah, good shot. Just really utilize that little bit between the ears. Realized he couldn't reach the green, and instead opted for fairway. Well, Rich, it's been a disaster until this point, but there's an escape clause. If he can make bogey from here, that'll be some doing, something to be proud of.
Will feel actually pretty good. Sometimes you see players walk off a hole with a little bounce in their steps, even after a bogey, because they've had to work hard for it. That's not how you picture it, Frank, when you step on that first tee.
No, you'd like to go back to that first tee right now and start again.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. And +2 already. Ready to tee off here at the second. Frank, what's it all about?
Well, you hit your tee shot here through the dunes, Rich, not overly long, just under 400 yards. The bunker on the left really shouldn't be a problem. Just avoid the dunes on the right and left.
Not the best shot, this one in the rough, but still will have a play from there. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but the short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
And he's made it onto the green now. These putts keep the round together. Frank, amazing how this hole has gotten away.
He's not Robinson Crusoe. It's happened to everybody that's played this game.
Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. So with that, 3 over par now for the round. At the third tee now, Frank, and what are we staring at here?
This green is anything other than symmetrical, so be very, very cautious on where the flag is. Anything in the middle of the green you can putt to the corners, well, if you can call them corners, more like ragtails, but beautiful par 3. Not too bad. It's about 23 feet away.
He didn't hit the flag stick, but he still has a chance. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie. When you consider the length of that putt, it's a good putt.
Eight-foot putt here. Wow, almost fell within just a few inches of dropping. So they'll tap in. Really struggling now, 4 over early in the round. Frank, here on the fourth tee, you get a good look, don't you, at what Chambers Bay really is all about.
It's framed beautifully, Rich, by the bunkers there, left, short, off the tee, plus the ones down the right side. You can see everything in front of you, but the hole does bend to the right. This is another one where you've got a generous fairway, but don't be fooled by that. It's fairway first.
Tough par 4 measuring 495 yards. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special. That's an absolute beauty.
Let's see what the dominant #1 player can do. Rory McIlroy now on the approach shot. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Well, that's how you do it. Hit it close, take the pressure off that putt. That one should be no problem. Oh, you can see the frustration. Almost kicked his putter head right there with a drop shot here at the 4th. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. This would be a good time to reverse the slide. 5 over par on the day. Frank, it's kind of fun to swing away on an elevated tee like this, the 5th here at Chambers Bay.
It looks straight away. It certainly does. And under 500 yards, so it gives you a chance, plus that elevation. You should be able to knock one down there. The whole pinch is in, though, with those bunkers left and right. And there's just one bunker in the front of this green. And that, as you can guess, should be avoided.
Be careful. They call this hole free fall. Well, those are good numbers right there. 3-2-0. 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. Frank, what do we have with the approach shot here at the 5th?
Just got to be cognizant of that bunker. That's you can see it there. That's just central front of this green. You've either got to go around it, or if you're good enough, then you go straight over it. But you've got to have a ton of spin on the second shot.
He'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
The swing didn't quite look right on that one.
So, 3rd shot now for Rory McIlroy. Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Shouldn't be a problem here. Par for McIlroy. But you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. Ready to tee off here at the 6th. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. That little green strip, that runway down there, another hole that bends to the right, but find the fairway. The fairway's wide enough. You've got a pretty good idea exactly where you want to go. And once again, this is one of the shorter par 4s. So good drive here, just a short iron in.
From a perfect position, ready to play his next shot. Frank, you played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it to a head breeze. But down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. Just 5 feet left. Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Well, sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. You can see the look of disgust, and it's justifiable. It's a double bogey. Frank, this is a daunting challenge. The 7th hole, long par 4. It's over 500 yards.
A huge bunker down the right side that probably runs for a good 200-300 yards. Obviously, that's to be avoided. And then, of course, there's the mounds and the hammocks and the dunes and that on the left side. That's the reason, really, why this hole's called Humpback. But then, a little bit like the golf course, there's only one greenside bunker to be worried about, but enough green left of that.
Now, the approach shot here at the 7th, Frank, and this one is up the hill.
It is, and the green is sort of split into thirds. There's a little piece back left, there's a piece back right, and that bigger portion in the front. So once again, you got to choose what shot am I trying to hit, and do I have the right club?
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Well, Frank, as we know, golf is not played generally on a flat surface, and here we go, uphill.
Yeah, and the uphill lie is going to guarantee you more loft than normal. So you're going to have to counteract that with maybe an extra club.
Try to scramble here. He's giving himself a chance for par. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Routine stuff for Rory, that's a par. Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realize that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage. Oh, nice little bounce forward. Should be close to 300, 290. Second shot.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops. You're a good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. This is a long putt. Really, the key is the speed. If it drops, that's a bonus. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right.
Now it's that sneaky distance.
Frank, you hear it so often. This is a game of dealing with your miscues.
That's the beauty of this game of golf. You give it, and it taketh away.
Getting set now over the putt.
That's a shot going forever.
Clean this up with a tap. Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. Frank, the 9th hole, called Olympus. That is very grand sounding. Like something that...
You're talking Greek god here, aren't you? Come on, this golf course is for the mere mortals, Rich.
You don't want to make a habit of it. In the bunker again off the tee. So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, who you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aim the club at that and made sure they followed through.
Frank, the nice thing about golf is we have that little break in between nines. And if it's not going well, and that's the case right here, player has a chance to turn it around.
Yeah, this is where you have to dig into your memory bank. Obviously, what you've done wasn't working, so you know what not to do.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. That one is in the bunker. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par. And an awkward little bunker shot, just splash it out, let the ball run towards the flag.
You like this one, Frank?
Oh, it's a good one. Safely on.
This for par. 10 over par for the day. Getting set to tee off at the 11th hole, long par 4, 537 yards. Frank, how do you play this hole, with a bazooka?
Yeah, try and take that June out of play, that's for sure, in the middle of the fairway. Bunkers down the left are more for scenic rather than, they're not really problematic for the player off the tee. Just, as I said, hit it over that June, and then really there's a ridge in the middle of the screen, so you've got to be on the right level.
It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long, straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, hole shorter. Basically, the list goes on.
He's set up for his third shot here, looking to get it on the green with this. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Well, that hurts. These putts keep the round together. Well, Frank, it's our job to get excited.
You can't when you leave it short, though.
I'm sad.
He's making my job hard.
Then a rocky round. Measuring 311 yards, the 12th, Frank, seems to offer an opportunity for a player to do something pretty dramatic here.
Yeah, it's called the Narrows. Really, it should be called the Temptation, because what player stands on a tee knowing he can reach and doesn't take up the gauntlet? Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
Well, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Just a little offline, so now, Frank, he's going to have to deal with a rough.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how strong he is.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
But a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
So third shot now for Rory McIlroy. Solid play, heart of the green. Par for McIlroy, but you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. On to the 13th hole here at Chambers Bay. It's a par 4, and they call this one Eagle Eye.
Yeah, dogleg to the right, beefy par 4. You hit it down to one of the widest fairways on the golf course. And then up in front, if you look at the middle of the green, you're going to see one bunker. Needless to say, that's got to be avoided. This ball never even looked like it was going down the fairway, hitting way right.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just ride a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole. That is a painful miss right there. And a bogey. Drop shot here at the 13th. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Frank, now to the 14th hole, and this is the 5th consecutive par 4 here at Chambers Bay. And by this point, the players will know whether they're on their game or off their game.
At 546 yards, this hole can be shortened considerably if you choose to take a brave line down the left side. You can chew off as much as 70 or 80 yards. But once again here, because the hole bends to the left, you've really got to know which direction that wind is coming from.
You'll need to be strong with this. Just hasn't been able to avoid the bunkers today. Again, in the sand.
They're like a magnet today.
This will be the 3rd swipe at it. Make it about 110 yards.
This looks like it's going to find the target. It needs a sort of miracle putt.
Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, #1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part.
Really. This is an awkward length.
Hit it. Ouch, that hurts. Double bogey. At last, Frank, a break from those long par 4s. We just played 5 par 4s in a row. Now the par 3 15th.
And also, as you can see in the distance, you can actually see a tree. One of the few that are on the golf course. Hence the name of 15. It's called Lone Fir. Not overly long, just a little short hole. But in a US Open, obviously they can play it at around 250 yards. It's just a fun par 3. But check where that flag is, because sometimes 3 is a good score here. But an easy flag position and then go straight at it.
That's a sensible approach shot right there. In good position on the green. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Struggling a bit with the flat stick and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Well, not going to make par here. He needs this to only give up 1. Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. Now to the 3-hole finishing stretch here at Chambers Bay, and we get it started with a relatively short par 4. It's a 423-yard hole, the 16th, Frank.
Being slightly to the right, there's a huge bunker all the way down the right side that sort of starts, I don't know, maybe about 100 yards off the tee, goes all the way to the green. You go right, and then you realize why this hole is called Beach.
Frank, now a pretty short shot here into the 16th.
Yeah, green, anything other than flat, very narrow, skinny green. It also slopes left to right. You can use that to your advantage.
Wow, really off the mark. Missed the green here. Setting up for an approach shot here. Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Just 2 holes left to play. Now a par 3, the 17th, 218 yards and all sorts of trouble, Frank, down that right.
Well, if you weren't beached at the 16th, then there's a chance you can be derailed, which is what this hole's called, at 17. Difficult par 3. You can see the bunker there in front, and once again, wind conditions. This is going to probably require one of the best tee shots, especially in the closing stages of the US Open.
And yet again, he has hit it off the tee and into the bunker. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Well, no other way to say it, Frank. That's just an awful shot.
Bad.
Down, little Sheba, down! Frank, he has to be scratching his head as he reaches for a sand wedge or a gap wedge for his next shot.
Well, you know, the FedEx Cup, Rich. I mean, you're meant to get there by 10:30 tomorrow. That thing's still going.
Frank, that reminds you of maybe what, the greatest bunker player of all time? You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Oh my gosh, that hurts. Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, you know, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walking golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department in your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait, and at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. So a tough way to close the round, missing a short putt and a bogey here at 18. 12 feet still to go. Well, Frank, it's our job to get excited.
You can't when you leave it short, though.
I'm sad.
He's making my job hard.
Been a rocky round. Well, Frank, as we put a wrap on the day, it was plain to see he just didn't have his best stuff, but that's golf, and there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, the beauty of this game, you're rated by your best and your worst golf. Today's not, I don't think, a fair assessment of how good a player he is, but we'll see down the line exactly whether he learns from this or this becomes a habit.
And there'll be a next time for us as well, partner. For Frank Nobilo, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now.